Hello everyone. This is my latest completed book. This is the Perelin Decline. The author is Pavio. And my disclaimer is I have to declare that Pavio is someone who has a YouTube channel. I've followed him for quite a long time. I consider him a friend, albeit a very distant one. So objectivity of myself out the window. I think that's subjective to say. So if you're after objective reviews, this is not the one for you. It just can't be delivered from the position I'm in. But anyway, the Perelin Decline. This is not a big book. This is, 193 pages. And Pay will make you work for every single one of those pages to complete and to get through. Some of the language in this book, some of the sentences and paragraphs are so extraordinarily difficult to comprehend and to understand. There was more than a couple of sentences that I just had to walk away from because under the context I was really struggling to grasp hold of the meaning, and that's not a fault of the book per se. I think that's the fault of the reader, but what can you do? I mean, there was only a few little moments. Now this is a book it's all about Simone, who lives in France, and she wakes up in hospital and is sent home with no memory, and when she arrives home she finds her flat is full of rocks and boulders, and they're all over the floor, all over the kitchen, they're all over the windowsills, they're just everywhere, right? It's rocks everywhere. And for a couple of days she wants to know the story of why the rocks and where this leads to. Who was she? Why does she have them? And the story is massively existential, philosophical, to the point where the story is what the story is, and the philosophy and the existentialism is what it is. They're two parts of the same thing, and yet they're almost completely separate, if that makes even the slightest bit of sense. But here, within these pages, they are mixed, they are blended, and as with all philosophy for me, as I read, you read a certain bit and it sends you spiralling off into hypotheticals or into your past, or like this, that and the other, right? It's hard to read because what's on the page sends you into your own mind over and over and over again, until you realise that you haven't read anything in the last 15-20 minutes and you've just been staring at the page thinking of hypothetical situations. I personally enjoy that kind of reading, but I know it's not going to be for everyone. This little book was printed purposefully, as you may see at the back there, printed by Amazon. So it is by Amazon that I lay the blame for the two minor printing errors in here, and that was just a missed couple of letters or a replacement letter where it shouldn't have been. Nothing major by my normal standards of the way I find problems with publishing. But yeah, this is a wonderful little mystery. But again, it's not just, you can't go into it as a mystery. It's a mystery that Simone suffers, essentially, and you're going to suffer with her. So you're going to get dragged into her thoughts as she tries to piece together an old life that just won't come to her. And it is really well written, really well, like Pay's videos. If you go see his YouTube channel, I'll probably link it in the description or something. I'll find a way to let you know his YouTube channel, because he's more than worth watching in his videos. He does exceptional quality videos for YouTube, and very much like the man's videos, the man's produced an exceptional book. I am grateful that it is not any longer than 200 pages. It took me, I think, 2 days to get about halfway through, and then another couple of days to kind of get over what I'd already read in order to carry on reading. I consider it a mercy that we weren't given more time with Simone under her present state of mind, because it's a little bit like torture. You'll be absolutely emotionally challenged. It's just all over the place as to what you're going to feel, and obviously that's not just down to the book, that's down to the reader. I would think it absolutely alien that someone would read this book and come away like, no doubt you could read the words and get through it in a few hours, but what would be the value of that? I mean, that's almost the same as any other book, right? But like, you have to take something else from this. You have to have that little bit of introspection and philosophical thought going on inside you to understand what's going on here. And I don't know if it's even possible to read the book just simply for the words and say, yes, I've read that book and that's done, and give it no more thought, or whether you must, by process of reading, become, which is a fascinating question, and one of hundreds of questions that have popped up in my brain since I started reading and completed The Perelin Decline. So in a totally biased, not terribly objective way, I think The Perelin Decline by Pavio is worth your time, and you should seek it out and read and think. And that's it. That's all I got. See you around.